Crash and burn, the Amy Schumer story. She was once hailed as the queen of comedy by, like, who? Like, other fat chicks?
Amy Schumer. If ever there was a celebrity destined for a crash and burn episode, it was her. Yeah. Just a few years ago, she was one of the most popular female comedians of all time, with a
totally astroturfed. Nobody ever really liked her. I don't know why she was in anything.
String of successful stand-up tours, movie deals, Netflix specials, endorsements, fawning magazine articles, and all the apparatus of the Hollywood industrial complex behind her. A woman who was not only theoretically funny and a box office draw, but
theoretically funny.
An outspoken feminist and activist who somehow managed to position herself behind every major trend and movement that looked to be gaining traction.
Yeah.
But it turns out that Amy Schumer's towering empire was built on a shaky foundation of stolen material, questionable talent, high-profile controversies, a massively inflated ego, box office flops, and extremely shitty personal conduct. And eventually...
I didn't know any of that. I just didn't think she was funny.
all came crashing down in the kind of slow-motion train wreck that was less a spectacular implosion and more like death by 1,000 cuts. So join me, your humble drinker, as we explore Crash and Burn, the Amy Schumer story. Schumer was born in 1981 in New York's Upper East Side, the daughter of wealthy Jewish and Protestant parents. Her dad ran a successful furniture business, and the family enjoyed a pretty cushy life for much of Amy's childhood. The good times weren't to last, though. The business eventually went bankrupt when she was 9, and her parents divorced a couple of years later. Oh wow, another troubled celebrity whose parents divorced at a young age. What are the odds, eh?
Pretty fucking good.
Anyway, Amy soon discovered an interest in the performing arts and ended up studying theatre in college before eventually drifting into comedy. By the mid-2000s, she was a regular on the New York stand-up circuit, and in 2007, she made it to 4th place on the reality show Last Comic Standing, where she impressed the judges with her mixture of dark, raunchy humour and ironic self-reflection. Positioned as a young up-and-coming talent...
I think that that's one of the things, is that for a while in the 2000s and the 2010s, a lot of comedy was just like kind of self-depreciation, and people really liked it. But I think that people went too far with it, and it just kind of got to be weird. And I think that in general now it's not as appealing as it used to be. It started to get corny.
With a sharp edge, she was soon booking guest roles in shows like 30 Rock, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Girls, but Amy had her sights set on bigger things. Her 2012 comedy special, Mostly Sex Stuff, was what really put her on the map as a major player.
That's what I always, like, that was always my viewpoint about it, is that every time that I would listen to one of her jokes, it would be like some crude joke about vaginas or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm a guy, like, I don't think I'm the target audience for this. Like, I don't want to see this. It's just, like, weird.
Basically set the tone for her entire sense of humour going forward. Crude, dark, self-deprecating, and weirdly obsessed with the workings of her own body. Oh my goodness, a female comedian whose entire act revolves around sex and dating. Whatever will they think of next? I mean, personally, watching an out-of-shape 30-something New Yorker spending 2 hours talking about what her vagina looks and smells like sounds about as funny as a cancer diagnosis, but each to their own, I guess. Comedy truly is subjective, and somehow hers was working big time. Amy was soon being positioned as the next big thing, more edgy and daring than her contemporaries. I
don't know why anybody thought this was ever edgy. It was so boring.
Push boundaries and make fun of herself, and pretty soon she made the transition from guest star to movie star. 2015's Trainwreck, where she played a drunken, promiscuous party girl that was basically just a toned down version of herself, was well received by critics and went on to make $140 million at the box office against a $35 million budget. By now, comedy shows, TV appearances, favourable news coverage, and a promising
This sounds like a movie that, like, is for girls, so I didn't see it.
Film career. What could possibly go wrong? Well, quite a lot as it turned out. The warning signs were there as early as 2011 during the roast of Charlie Sheen, where she made a joke about the recent death of Ryan Dunn in front of his best friend Steve-O, and well, it didn't exactly go down like she hoped.
And I know you must have been thinking it could have been me, and I know we were all thinking, why wasn't it?
Jesus Christ, if even Steve-O doesn't see the funny side, you know you've fucked up. But okay, fine, every comedian has an off day, I guess.
Yeah, it could be weird, but like...
Her first real mistake was one that many celebrities have fallen victim to over the years. Politics. She'd always been outspoken about her political views, but during the 2016 presidential race, she really kicked...
Let me guess, she liked Hillary Clinton. Let me take a bet. She was a Hillary Clinton fan?
victim to over the years. Politics. She'd always been outspoken about her political views, but during the 2016 presidential race, she really kicked...
Let me guess, she liked Hillary Clinton. Let me take a bet. She was a Hillary Clinton fan?
into high gear. At a show in Tampa, Florida, Amy decided to take a break from talking about her vagina to go on an extended rant about how much she hated the Orange Man and how...
Oh, Donald. Getting... crashing out over Donald. Women, right? What are you going to do?
Everyone needed to vote for Hillary Clinton instead because she said so, prompting boos from the audience and causing hundreds of people to walk out.
It was just cool to hear what one guy, who doesn't seem like a psychopath, why he would want to vote for that orange, assaulting fake college starter.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Fucking hell,
well,
man.
I think there's a bunch of other fat, like, upper middle class women that think this is hilarious. I bet, you know, that's really the thing, is that there's a huge audience for that kind of stuff. There's so many of them. I watched those ICE counter protests, and I see a lot of Amy Schumer fans in the audience. Let me just tell you that. So it's really not that much of a fucking niche opinion. But at the same time, if you want to make movies and you want to sell movies, you're going to have a problem doing it if you have all these opinions. You do. Like, that's why you have somebody like Tom Cruise. What does Tom Cruise believe in besides Scientology? Basically, we don't really know. It's not part of it. It's got nothing. He's just a movie star, right? That's it. And I think that a lot of politicians, like a lot of comics, the problem is that a lot of comics try to emulate someone like Dave Chappelle or someone like George Carlin, for example. And not everybody has to be Dave Chappelle or George Carlin with trying to give their takes on modern society and everyday life. Like, you can be Mitch Hedberg. You can just be funny. You don't have to do anything crazy. You can be Gallagher, okay? You can just smash watermelons. You don't have to have all of these, like, crazy, weird fucking opinions that fit in with everybody else. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm not even a comedian, and even I understand how to read a room. Shit like that might have played well in New York or LA, but in a red state like Florida, it went down about as well as...
She did this in Tampa, Florida? Oh, jeez.
Stripper at a funeral. Not only had she waded into the middle of the most divisive election in living memory and alienated half her audience in the process, but the cracks were beginning to show in her comedy armor as well. People were beginning to notice that there wasn't a whole lot of variety in her comedy shows. Every one of them was just her talking about getting blackout drunk, sleeping with lots of guys, going on awkward dates, and how disgusting she found her own body.
Isn't it crazy how... It's like you have this girl is like she's like the musical Wario version of Taylor Swift. It's kind of the same thing, right?
This all culminated with 2017's Leather special on Netflix, which was an unmitigated disaster, rehashing the same tired material she'd been using for years, horribly delivered with no sense of timing or enthusiasm, and getting brutal reviews from audiences and critics.
Blacking out, blacked out, blacked out. Pussies, pussy, my pussy, my pussy, blacked out, pussy.
Shut up!
Yes.
The complaints and backlash against her were mounting, but weirdly for someone who made a career out of self-deprecating humour, Amy turned out to be surprisingly thin-skinned when it came to criticism directed at her. You might think this would have been a good opportunity to reflect on her creative choices and maybe change course a little, but nope, her ego just wouldn't allow for it. Her standard response was to...
See, people didn't like Bill Murray at the beginning of him being on Saturday Night Live. My dad told me that nobody liked him, and then he won him over. And it's like, that's what you have to do. You're not always going to have everybody like you right from the beginning. You got to win people over sometimes. That's the way it is. Never liked her? Oh.
Dismiss her critics as haters, misogynists and right-wing chuds who just couldn't handle her political views, instead of acknowledging that maybe her act was becoming...
The alt-right trolls or anyone who reported that viewers aren't happy with my special, it would have been cool if you did a moment of research before posting. The alt-right trolls attack everything I do. Well, you shouldn't have antagonized them. So you attack this is their glorious leader. their tangerine warlord, and you go and take a shot at him, and now you're surprised that they're mad at you. That's it. How do you do that? Kirshi rated with a party of, oh, geez, 9-11 viewers? Wow. I guess it's going down, guys. Yeah, welcome to the stream. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hi, we're watching a video about how Amy Schumer sucks. Yeah, hi. Thank you, Kirshi, for the raid. This is her 7th streaming anniversary. Congratulations, Kirshi. That's great. Yeah, good for you. 7 years. It's a long time. Damn. 7. What was I doing 7 years ago? Oh, that's right. Same thing. Same exact fucking thing. Yeah, there it is. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And kind of stale and predictable. She was also remarkably tetchy about the body she'd spent so long making fun of. After spending years advocating for more
chick at any size? More like chunk.
Plus-sized women in media, Glamour magazine rewarded her by including her in their chic at any size article, which caused her to get all pissy at the implication she was overweight.
I think there's, what does it say? What does she say? I think there's nothing wrong with being plus size. Beautiful, healthy women. Plus size is considered size 16 in America. Oh, what do you mean plus size is size 16? How much does a woman at an average height weigh on average if she wears a size 16? 170 pounds at 5'4"? That's fat. You're fat. I'm sorry, but you're fat. Like, that's the way it is. I mean, I don't know really what you want me to say. You're fat. Like, I mean, damn. It's that simple. The 5'9"? Well, yeah, of course. But I said average height. That's why I said average height. Look at BMI. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, BMI. BMI calculator. Okay. 190. What? Almost on the hog percentage. Oh. She almost. Oh, damn, bro. She almost on the hog watch. Shut.
But have you ever looked in a
Shut up. We all know that. Everybody knows that.
I mean, no offense, but have you ever looked in a fucking mirror? You've also got to appreciate the irony there. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being plus-sized. In fact, it should be celebrated.
No, it
But don't
be.
ever call me that. It all just painted.
That's the thing, yeah. Lizzo's so beautiful. She's so attractive. You look like Lizzo. Fuck you. You're getting blocked. I hate you. Yeah. Yeah. You're really trying to play those games, bro. Like, what are they doing?
The impression of a prickly, arrogant, egotistical celebrity who was far removed from her self-deprecating comedy persona. Worse was soon to come, though, when it was revealed that a lot of the jokes from her comedy routines seemed to have been plagiarized from other comedians like Tammy Pescatelli, Kathleen Madigan, Wendy Liebman, and Patrice O'Neill, amongst others. Before you could say talentless hack, YouTube was awash with compilation videos showing Amy's jokes and comedy skits, and the material they seem to have been, inspired by. This is one of...
I feel like there are always going to be cases where people, like, a lot of people tell some similar jokes because, I mean, if you're making an observation about something, a lot of people end up saying the same thing. Like, I remember whenever X added videos, and I said, oh, what are they going to call them? X videos? And, like, everybody said this. It's not like you didn't need to steal the joke. It was just obvious. Like, it's an obvious joke. But some of them, the thing is that it's kind of like what I said before about, like, points on a graph and drawing a line. If you've got a couple of points on the graph, it's like, maybe, maybe not. But if you've got compilations, ooh, that's like Carlos Mencia. Remember him? Yeah.
The big no-nos in the comedy world. You never steal other people's stuff, and if you happen to, even by accident, you absolutely have to come clean and apologise. Once again though, Amy's response was just to deny everything and dismiss her critics as sexist and losers. It hadn't really worked before, and with the mountain of evidence piling up against her, it definitely wasn't working now. Public opinion was shifting rapidly. The magazine articles that used to fawn over her were now openly critical of her career and questioning her decline in popularity. All wasn't well on the movie front either.
And this is another factor, is that she used to be relatively conventionally attractive, and then she gained a bit of weight and she stopped being conventionally attractive. And again, I don't think that, I mean, she's not like super hot, but I mean, she's conventionally attractive, right? She was. Yeah, if she lost 50 pounds, she'd be funny again. Exactly. So it's the opposite. So when women lose weight, they become funny. When men gain weight, they become funny. That's the way it works.
Her next big project, I Feel Pretty, about a fat woman who gets brain damage and is convinced she's now...
So wait a minute. So she's crashing out about people calling her fat, but she plays the role of a main character that's fat? Wow. I don't know. I feel like I gotta lay down after this.
Slim and attractive, fuck it, just go with it, was supposed to be a feel-good comeback that played to her self-deprecating humour, but instead provoked a storm of backlash with the unintended implication that women can only feel confident through self-delusion. The movie was absolutely lambasted by critics and audiences alike, and further damaged her comedy credentials. More and more she was beginning to look out of touch and, well, just not that funny anymore. Then there was the stuff that just made her look like a generally shitty human being, like willingly taking photos with fans on the street only to bitch about it later on social
Wait, what? What?
media to make herself seem like a victim of harassment, or openly bragging about
what?
sleeping with a guy who was so blackout drunk that he didn't even know what was happening to him. Flip the genders for a second there and just imagine how that must look. The cumulative effect of all these
It's like the average Twitter thread about me.
profile setbacks and negative publicity was a career downturn that makes Brie Larson's look like a controlled landing. She was still bagging the occasional movie role, but usually as a supporting actor in low-budget slop.
Well, the problem is that, so Amy Schumer used to be a relatively attractive woman who was a bit on the thicker side, but a lot of guys would swipe right on her. I think that they would have. I do, and you might disagree, but I think that's a factor. And so a lot of women want to see themselves in an attractive woman. They do. And so if they feel like they can relate to an attractive woman and she's saying things that are relatable, it makes them probably feel good about themselves. But the problem is that then whenever you do get fat and you're in movies, nobody wants to watch an actual fat chick in movies. Yeah, they just don't. They don't want to see that. I mean, like that's it. Like I mean, you look at the difference, and I know this might seem mean, but I do think this is a legitimate thing. I do. Like if you look at I think she's pretty. I do. I think she's pretty, and this is like one of those things where it's like, where is it? It's like before and after marriage. Really. I'm just being honest, right? And so like women want to see themselves in someone that is, I think, likable and, you know, like attractive, that people want to be. That's it. Is she married? I don't know if she's married or not, but I'm just saying that's the way it is.
Seem like a victim of harassment, or openly bragging about sleeping with a guy who was so blackout drunk.
It's like, I know people might not want to hear that, but like a lot of women's popularity has to do with their appearance. It just does. It's just the way it is. You might not like it, but that's just the way it is. This is in media. It's just true in media in general.
That he didn't even know what was happening to him. Flip the genders for a second.
He's married to a chef? That's a good advertisement for that restaurant.
There, and just imagine how that must look. The cumulative effect of all these high-profile setbacks and negative publicity was a career downturn that makes Brie Larson's look like a controlled landing. She was still bagging the occasional movie role, but usually as a supporting actor in low-budget slop that nobody cared about. The glory days of Trainwreck were long behind her, and she wasn't a bankable star anymore. She was still making the occasional TV show and comedy special, but the fire and momentum was long gone. The prestige of her public...
Well, and I think also, like, for a while, there was, like, a popular, you know, kind of toxic millennial girl, depreciating humor, I'm such a slut mentality that I think has gone away because a lot of those women are now, like, 35 or 40 now. That's what's happened, right? Is like you're not, you know, 28 or 23 anymore. And so it's not the same thing. Certain streamers, well, I mean, it is. Like, the thing is, as a guy, so here's the thing, right? As a guy, it's less of a big deal, right? I mean, like, I don't, age is a barrier. Like, for example, like, it would be hard for
Dante versus Clive.
DMC's Devil Hunter versus Final Fantasy's Shield of Rosaria. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
It's a dangerous world out there. Cultists, demons, and evil businessmen lust for power. And every day brings a new cataclysm humanity must face.
This world may seem like the end, but for a devil hunter like Dante, it's party time. Who'd expect anything less from the son of the legendary demon Sparta?
A dark knight who, thousands of years ago, woke up to justice and sealed away the demon lord, Mundus.
But then Sparta mysteriously died, and his wife got iced by some demons, leaving Dante and his brother Virgil separated.
Despite a long-gone family, Dante kept a chipper attitude and set up a business dedicated to one thing.
Killing demons, and with the blood of Sparta.
Business dedicated to one thing.
Killing demons, and with the blood of Sparta running through him, he's the best in the business.
By harnessing his own demonic energy, Dante bolsters his speed, power, and durability, letting him block kaiju-sized punches, move faster than a meteor,
and regenerate like an unstoppable force of nature. As long as he has the energy, he can heal from getting shot, stabbed, sliced through, basically anything.
Even without his regeneration, he's survived heat that would reduce the layman to ash.
But no hunter is complete without an arsenal, and Dante's got one hell of a sword left by his dad, Rebellion. Plus ebony and ivory, 2 magic pistols with endless ammo clips, and they say the perfect gift doesn't exist.
But Dante's full arsenal is far larger and stranger.
Like King Cerberus, a shape-shifting set of elemental nunchucks. Cavalier, a pair of buzzsaws that are also a motorcycle. Balrog, fiery fisticuffs for boxing and capoeira. And Navan, guitar. an electric guitar.
There's also Lucifer, a backpack of endless laser swords that Dante got after slaying... Actually, we never see how he beat Lucifer.
Yeah, you know someone's a badass when they off-screened the actual devil. Then there's my fave, Dr. Faust, a sentient hat that turns Dante into basically Orville Peck. Oh, and shoots crystallized demon blood.
Dante needed this and...
Basically Orville Peck. Oh, and shoots crystallized demon blood.
Dante needed this and much more when he got a warm welcome from the brother he thought long dead. In a twist of fate, Virgil was alive, but went down a very different path.
While Dante was partying, Virgil studied the blade, seeking the power he needed to exert his will, even if it meant killing his own brother, something he came close to doing in their first meeting.
But the defeat only spurred Dante's awakening. He learned to teleport using Trickster, slow down time through Quicksilver, and double-team foes with Doppelganger.
With a slick pose and the right timing, he can royal guard dang near anything, then use the absorbed energy to armor up as a dreadnought.
And then there's Devil Trigger, a super form Dante achieves through his supernatural power. By tapping into his inner demon, Dante can fly and gains an enormous boost in speed and power.
Naturally, his rematch with Virgil went very differently, and that was far from Dante's peak.
When Mundus got up to his old tricks, Dante battled the Demon Lord in a vast sea of stars, a universe Mundus created on a whim. Even later, Dante one-shot a stronger alternate future Mundus who had completely merged with the demon world.
So he's kind of a big deal. Literally, Mundus became a living universe just for Dante to shoot him in the face.
Then there's Argosax, a god so astronomically intense he had the power of every other demon in existence, a divine deity of the sun that Dante also shot in the face.
Oh, that guy! I completely forgot about him.
Funny, so did Dante. Despite how powerful Argosax was, he was just an insignificant Tuesday to Dante.
So it's safe to say Dante had become the strongest around. But no amount of style, pizza, or wahoos could fill the hole in his heart. Sure, Virgil was a power-hungry weeb, but he was still his bro. Beneath Dante's antics, killing the last of his family kinda messed him up.
Until he learned his family wasn't as gone as he thought. It turns out he had a nephew, Nero, who Dante would help get into the family business in his own unconventional way.
And for dead weight, Nero was pretty badass, even helping Dante take on the so-called Demon King Urizen. Nero's Devil Breaker arm can fire light-speed lasers that Dante and Virgil have dodged.
Dante and Virgil can already dodge lasers in their base forms, but when charged with enough demonic energy, they can outright blitz beams over 11 times faster than light.
Nero even survived getting melted down while inside a living statue. It's a long story.
And that's the same sort of regeneration that Dante has, meaning he can survive being turned into a puddle.
So Dante was ready when Virgil somehow returned. Again. And made an apocalyptic demon tree for what else? more power.
With the entire world now on the line, Dante had to get serious and fully embrace his human and demon sides alike by stabbing himself.
Holy shit, Dante has been impaled so much, he decided to make it how he powers up. So he got his greatest weapon, Devil Sword Dante, and became Sin Devil Trigger. This is Dante's demon energy at its peak. He can fire lasers with Loose, obliterate with the fires of Judgment, and surpass even the legendary Sparta.
But although Dante was totally a match for Virgil, neither of them would budge on their ideals. Both were destined to duel until one was dead forever.
But thanks to Nero and 2 well-placed bitch slaps, they got some sense knocked into him.
Dante realized that if he couldn't make Virgil abandon his ways, he might as well keep an eye on him. In one fell swoop, the two severed the world-spanning demon tree and prepared for a permanent departure to the underworld.
You can choose your friends, but not your family. But if that's what it takes to keep Virgil safe, or rather to keep the world safe from Virgil, Dante will deal with it. And all things considered, he's happy slugging it out with his bro. Maybe happier than he's ever been.
Proof that as long as you have the human drive, even hell can become a paradise sweet enough that a devil may cry.
Whiz, it's an emergency! This fight's gonna have a banger soundtrack, but my headphones broke!
Well, good news. This battle is sponsored by Raycon. These
just as never magic
30 to upgrade before their Raycon. Sit down as we tell the tale of the kingdom of Rosaria and its prince, Clive Rossfield, a man destined to be a dominant, the host to a mighty guardian icon.
Anybody who's a dom can draw on magic life juice called ether, becoming a big scary monster.
And commanding the element they embody to create storms, slay armies, and split the sea. Dominants are forces of nature, and Clive would be the dominant of the Phoenix.
Well, he was supposed to, but Big Bird said no thanks and instead picked his sick little brother Joshua. Parents don't play favorites, but I guess ancient monsters can.
Despite the rejection and a deep loathing from his mother Annabella, Clive and Joshua were only kind to one another. Clive saw the bird in his brother Boar and accepted his blessing of the Phoenix in hopes of becoming Joshua's shield.
Meaning he learned a bunch of magic. He can shoot fire, teleport with Phoenix Shift, and took down this beast before he was even out of puberty.
Even without magic, Clive's a capable swordsman, able to boost his speed and perception with precision dodge. But it wasn't enough when Annabella betrayed Rosaria for the Empire of Sanbreque. In one night, Clive's knights, people, and his own father were slaughtered before him.
Quick! Someone use a Phoenix down!
Those aren't in this game.
Well, that's unfortunate. But the Phoenix icon sure is, because the trauma of everything made poor Joshua lose control.
Clive wanted nothing more than to help his brother, and perhaps this desire awakened the icon that was in him all along, the fiery beast, Ifrit.
Boy, is Ifrit a wild one. Just standing nearby will incinerate the average Joe. It can make fire barriers, regenerate lost limbs, decimate foes with a flaming spirit bomb, and shatter a walking mountain.
The downside being Clive couldn't control it. He didn't even remember becoming Ifrit, or battling the Phoenix in a fight that reduced everything he loved to cinders, leaving Joshua presumed dead.
If that wasn't bad enough, dear old Ma found him the next day and made him a slave to Sanbreque's army. Clive spent 13 years wallowing through life, searching for Ifrit's host for revenge. Only to learn the one he wanted to kill was himself.
This revelation hit Clive like a phantom train. He thought death was all he deserved for taking the lives of Joshua and so many others. Even so, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. No, not like that.
Thanks to his friend Jill, the outlaw Sid, his doggo Torgal, and a very therapeutic battle with his self-hatred, Clive learned to carry the torch for his brother, fighting the real problems plaguing his world: crystals and racism.
In the world of Valisthea, prejudice is alive and well for bearers. Basically, anyone who can use magic without special crystals.
So what better way to dismantle the system than to help fellow bearers and destroy the mother crystals ruining the planet, all while picking up some nifty abilities.
Through a mysterious power that lets him absorb icons, Clive took Garuda, an avian with sharp slashes and sharper talons. From Sid, he received Ramuth, so he could summon lightning.
From his bae Jill, he got Shiva to freeze lava and even time itself. With Titan, he can block and absorb blows with earth-shattering fists. From this dragon prince, he got Bahamut and some deadly lasers.
And through Odin, he can slow the flow of time and slice apart the fabric of space.
Looks familiar.
With these powers, Clive stepped up to lead the bearers, and even reunited with Joshua, who was alive all along. Surprise!
Clive spent 5 years freeing the land, and became hot as hell while doing it. Well, no, yeah, that way, but also through Ifrit. By using part of Ifrit's power, Clive can set himself aflame, activating Limit Break to boost his abilities.
But Limit Break is far from Clive's limit. After absorbing the Phoenix essence from Joshua, he became Ifrit risen. Now fully in control of the monster that had tormented him, he embraced his role as a shield for his brother and friends.
Just in time to battle in space, block a planet-wiping blast, and overpower this dragon at the speed of light.
That's no exaggeration. Ifrit Risen is literally stated to move at light speed. Not surprising when Clive has intercepted lasers over 3 times faster than that, and overpowered Omega, a god-slaying weapon that can destroy, and I quote, all of creation.
But what made Clive strong enough to do all this? You know, besides the majestic man cleavage.
Turns out, Clive's birth was orchestrated. He was intended to become the vessel of Ultima, an ancient, all-powerful being that created humanity, but abandoned them after they developed free will.
Meaning everything that happened was the fault of one person. God, the bastard! But Clive wouldn't be a puppet. If God was in the way of humanity's freedom, then God was gonna die.
Easier said than done.
No shit!
Ultima was stronger than anyone Clive had faced, able to warp all of reality to create a universe. But Clive had a secret. Not even Ultima foresaw. Over his journey, he developed a special state of mind, Logos.
AKA someone powered by human will and the bonds of consciousness with others. Okay, that sounds like anime friendship crap, but trust me, it made Clive a badass who could surpass his limits, getting stronger over the course of just one fight.
So much so that, despite struggling against Ultima initially, by the end of the fight, Clive took out Ultimalius, a more powerful amalgamation of Ultima and his entire species, all while Clive was in his base form.
Ultima literally became Ultima Squared, but Clive still kicked his ass. Using his bonds with his brother, his friends, and his unbridled will, Clive killed God in a giant 999,000999 damage punch! Okay, so it really was the power of friendship after all. Hey, this guy's got a future in shonen.
Well, except we don't really know what happened to Clive. Whether he lived or died, though, doesn't really matter. It was his journey and the world he created that made his life meaningful. Clive's dream of a future where everyone can live and die on their own terms had become a reality.
And his stories were written up in a book by a certain Joshua Rossfield, which he titled Final Fantasy. The battle's coming up next, so call your winner now, folks, just like our sponsor, DraftKings.
The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the
or less on 2 or more stats and other bonus
down
play
partnership with Call 8 in Connecticut. Everywhere on withdrawal6.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Hey, I heard your fiery friend is causing trouble, and I'm in the business of dealing with trouble.
Leave now. I have a god to kill. The last thing that will stop me is a demon.
Let's rap!
Fancy yourself a bard?
No hiding in the shadows anymore, Smokey. Time to see the light!
What the hell is that?
Virgil's got some competition. Still holding out on me? Let's see what your monster can really do!
So the devil cries for more. Let's give him everything we've got! Joshua!
Underestimate you!
Please, just once. I need more. It's been a bash, Smokey. Jackpot! I need Ifrit! Not bad. Not bad at all. For a fight like this, a god will be nothing.
Okay, that was a whole nother level of close, but I think we got the point.
This was not an easy call to make. Dante and Clive matched each other so closely, it was hard finding a definitive advantage either had. This is best explained through 3 categories, starting with stats.
Both Dante and Clive could easily beat up universe-busting threats.
Mundus and Ultimalius could create universes at a whim, and Dante and Clive defeated them sans their own super forms. Dante and Clive could both consistently intercept lasers at faster-than-light speeds.
And Dante could always amp up with demon juice to briefly outspeed Clive anyway.
But Clive could match that by boosting his own speed and reflexes through precision dodge. Both were so beyond the pale that neither could definitively overpower the other.
Still, given their crazy powers, you'd think one of their abilities would break the deadlock.
Not so much. Dante and Clive could generally match each other blow for blow, be it to teleport, slow down time, flash freeze the other, block and absorb hits, etc.
And Dante could survive the intense flames of Ifrit. He's dealt with heat like that before.
Though Clive did not have a perfect match against Doppelganger, he did have more methods of manipulating time, both more reliable and abusable, in addition to defensive measures like Ifrit's barrier to fall back on to outlast powers like Doppelganger.
But their super forms evened out. Any edge Clive could get from, say, Limit Break or Ifrit Risen, Dante could match with Devil Trigger or Sin Devil Trigger.
In the end, both have answers to most of each other's powers, making it still anyone's win.
Which is why it came down to one major factor: endurance. Just how long could these two keep at it?
While Dante's super forms could undoubtedly keep up with Clive's, there is an emphasis in story and gameplay that they expend a lot of demonic energy.
The longest Dante has battled in Devil Trigger against someone his equal is about 6 minutes, and abilities like Doppelganger, Quicksilver, and Sin Devil Trigger burn through it even faster.
Clive's time in Ifrit Risen isn't limitless either, but it can last longer, fighting for tens of minutes if necessary. But given how close this match is, it's vital. If Ifrit Risen catches Dante outside of Devil Trigger, it's over.
I know what you're thinking. Dante's crazy tough. His healing factor's way better than Clive's. Clive can regen lost limbs, sure, but Dante can heal from getting reduced to a puddle. Couldn't he just tank Ifrit's attacks?
Well, yes, but also no. This is where context is everything. While no doubt impressive, Dante's healing has been overcome in the past because it is tied to how much energy he has. Less demonic energy means a less potent healing factor.
Like when he got knocked out for a month straight by Urizen, only surviving thanks to a constant source of demon blood. Hell, overtaxing demon regen is how Dante killed Virgil in the first place.
Even if we assume Dante could get a second wind, it's always possible Clive could get one too, becoming even stronger from pure willpower, just like when he fought Ultimalius.
So, for as tough and persistent as Dante was, Clive was able to endure just that much more to get the final edge. The devil was in the details, but Clive's victory is no fantasy.
The winner is Clive Rossfield.
Next time on Death Battle.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.